get into this space of being able to write a book,
Yeah.
I know the pressures that come with that when it comes to writing a book. Because anyone listening, the process of writing a book can be years sometimes.
Yeah.
But also, you know, you're someone who's been working in publishing and published and is an author. Is it me, but a publisher's just some of the nicest people you can meet that make the job a bit more hard because they're so nice.
And you know, and you can leave this in the edit. You know, the niceness is all a facade. That's what's so mad. It's a facade. Because it's a facade. And you know what's so funny? So first book came out May 2020. I'm Not Your Baby Mother. That book came out 3 days after George Floyd was murdered. It also came out in the middle of our first ever national lockdown. It's insane, like, to just watch my promotional schedule dissolve. Because now I can't leave the house.
Yeah,
everything's on Zoom.
On Zoom, and you know, you plan to have book signings and all of that stuff.
And also now I'm on the backdrop of maybe the biggest racial political fallout I've seen, maybe since the OJ trial. Because yes, that was a murder trial, but that was also a political racial conversation.
Yeah, in the height of COVID, when we're all in our house, and like I feel like the attention is heightened. Do you know what I mean?
That book ended up getting pulled into these conversations where people are like, oh, this is one of 5 books you need to read to unlearn your unconscious bias. I said, rah, I didn't write the book for all that. Relax. You know what you're I was having a panic attack. I said, what? I said, if you don't calm down with all of this. Today about
you're on Sky just doing think pieces. Yeah. Ooh.
And the publishers are like, this is great.
This wasn't the plan.
I was just writing this for 5 baby girls in the trenches. Why do you have me on CNN? No, I was. No, Mo, please. I was so stressed.
Oh, that's weird.
I was so stressed because all of a sudden, people were coming to me thinking I could solve racism, and I was like, I have not prepped for this. Please, relax. Like, wow, what a time.
Oh, shit.
So,
ooh, that took me out, man. That took me out, man.
So,
oh, man.
Okay, let me make something very clear. Of course, I'm a black British woman who's always lived in this body. I understand racism. It's happened to whatever. But to then be held upon high and seen as someone that could be having these esteemed conversations, I was like, yeah, I'm just not ready for this. Luckily, we passed through that moment. But I will say, for that to be my entry point into the publishing world, the stakes felt so high.
Yeah.
Because again, when you're writing this book, like you said, these things take years. So I was writing I'm Not Your Baby Mother for 2 years before people even knew the title. And not that you would, but for your book that is about racial identity within the maternal space to come out 3 days after an unarmed black man, you can't make that up. You wouldn't want to, do you know?
Yeah.
And so it just felt like a time where I had to graduate very quickly and publicly.
Did it feel like every move was almost watched in a sense of...
Bro, my Insta went from like 40k to 200k in 3 days.
Wow.
I didn't like that. And I still don't. I'm the kind of person, I'll tell anyone in their face, I said, miss me with going viral. That's one swift way to give me a heart attack. I don't like new attention, bare fast. I don't know who you are. I don't know if you can read the temperature of this room. And so this idea of just being thrown to millions, that makes my heart just Yeah.
And it's almost being like thrown to millions with like the mic in your face, and it's like, what are your thoughts on that? You know, during that time, COVID, where we're all in our house and there's something massively political going on, you know what I mean, in the world, and people are also at a point where they're like, I'm going outside. I want to, you know, I want to march about this. I feel like it was also a boiling point because people had been in their house.
Yep.
And they was just like, yo, like, I've had enough.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep. To be somewhat sent out as some mini soldier, again, it's definitely one of those times in my career where I tried to take the crown off. I was like, yeah, I'm not really feeling this. And then sometimes you have to go into meditation. Well, I go into meditation with God. People choose to do what they do. And to hear him say, like, but you love the good. You love the shine. You love meeting the people you like and skinning tea. Yeah. You like a high clickety-clack shoe and a Chanel bag. You have to sit through this as well. You have to sit through these difficult moments. And also, be ready to graduate and also learn and listen. And like I said, till this day, that book is still moving units because I didn't know this at the time. It was the first book to enter the British Library that was about Black British motherhood by a Black British woman.
Oh my God.
Which I think is crazy.
That's wicked. That's an achievement though, man.
And it's now on the required reading list for anyone training to be a British midwife. Really? I think that's even crazier.
That is wicked.
Do you get?
That must make you proud though.
Bro, when I tell you I was writing it in one dusty kitchen listening to Kano, and I'm just like, if only you lot knew where this story even came from. I think that is testament to my roots. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm like, the fact the book's called I Am Not Your Baby Mother. Like,
it's those books when you go into Waterstones that like the title jumps out at you.
Yeah. Like, what do you mean?
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
But and I fought like hell. To retain that title because a lot of people don't know this about publishing. You typically, especially if you're not well known, you typically don't have final say over your title or your front cover. That's typically a decision. The publishers, it lies with them. Yeah,
there's a lot of decisions that happen within publishing that sometimes, you know, and even I've realised this of being able to do a book because mine is based on me.
Yeah.
And knowing whether not everyone who writes their biopic owns their biopic within their book. I didn't know this.
Babe.
I'm just writing the book like, let's put this all in.
Bare ghosties out there.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Do you get? And so to learn those bits of the business and also work out really quickly what I won't sell. I was like, you can have the rights to the book, but you can't change the title. And they went back and forth for a little piece. But if there's one thing, again, I think you'd understand this being, you know, we're the crazy cult leader. You can't scare me with loss. I never had it.
Yeah.
So you now giving it the, well, you know, if you don't do that, move, man.
I get your point because you're like, well, I've come into this with nothing.
And
if I put this book out and it's just amongst people that like it and it does well, I'll be like happy with that. It's because I think people sometimes forget that we also come from a background and we're probably like maybe third or fourth generation in where we're getting these opportunities like publishing and we're like, oh, I'm happy for the opportunity.
I'm just happy to be
here. I'm
not
trying to do this to make X amount of money and it goes on to this because we haven't seen a generation come before us and benefit of the fruits of the labor. It's only until I'd probably say in the last maybe 10 to 15 years where, you know, you understand what a Sunday Times best-selling author is all about. Do you know what I mean?
And you know, and I've gone from being happy to being in the room to now being like, no, there's a certain figure I demand to hear because my white peers who are just as celebrated, there's a figure there telling me that I've never heard. And I'm like, well, thank you for that information. Because again, like you said, what we've got at a push, 20 years skin in the game. Some of us are still coded to be, I'm just happy to be here. I'm just, nah. I'm not, nah. You gotta wake up one day and be like, okay, because guess what? How can you be happy to be here and you're the most qualified in the room anyway? You've done all of this groundwork. You know you can outwork all of your peers, no matter who they are, and you're still giving it. I'm just, yeah. I've had to put that to bed, and I've learned that one the hard way, but I'm getting better at it. Where I'm like, nah, it's okay to be here, and guess what? I deserve to be here. Can we have the money or whatever you're giving me, the reciprocity? Can it match that energy?
Yeah.
Because, and if I continue to show you I'm happy to be here, you're gonna continue to lowball me. Because you're like, oh, she's just happy. She's in the room.
Because the problem is, once you ride that wave of, like, I'm happy to be here, because I don't know, when there's no one else around in the room that looks like me, and this is an opportunity that I don't know much about, it then looks like you've won a competition rather than, no, I've won the right to work at a level playing field.
Yep, absolutely.
And I'm meant to be there, like, you know, some of my peers are meant to be there. It's gone less, and you know, that sentiment is for me in television. You know, it gets to a point where you're like, oh, just go to the thing. This is cool, man. You're like, hey, hang on a minute. Hang on. Wait a second.
This is it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's where I am now. Yes,
what's good, people? My name is Mo Gilligan, and you just watched my podcast highlights of the beginning, middle, and end podcast. Now, if you did like this, feel free to like and subscribe. And if you want to catch the whole thing, I'm talking the whole juicy thing, make sure you go listen to it on the Global Player or wherever you catch your podcast. Take care. Peace.